I hope you guys are having a really good day. I'm having a great day too. And thank you for coming to my live stream for the Visual Snow Initiative. And I'm really excited to get to talk to you guys. And if you have any questions throughout, please feel free to ask me. My name is Sierra Domb. I'm the founder of the Visual Snow Initiative. Ooh, I see some questions coming in. We'll get to those. Some of you guys already submitted questions via our contest, and I want to let you know I'm going to be answering those. Those were pre-selected randomly, so we'll also be taking live questions as well. And yeah, as I said, I'm the founder of the Visual Snow Initiative. My name is Sierra Domb, and I'll be getting into why I founded the initiative. But first and foremost, it's been beautiful to see the response from the VS community. I didn't even know there was a VS community at one point. I thought I was the only person who had visual snow and was going through this all alone at one point. So the response from you guys has been tremendous, and it's really beautiful to see how everybody's come together to support our cause. And yeah, my background, if anybody is interested, I am involved in communications, writing, business. I'm also very artistic, and that was actually one of the reasons visual snow bothered me so much, because I am such an active and very much a go-getter type of person that my symptoms started to debilitate me, but I found some ways to work around it. And if you watch Matthew's live stream, he might have given you some suggestions too and ways you can work around it as well. So I'm going to be telling you what works for me, and hopefully that can enable you to live the kind of life that you want, and maybe even better. So yeah, as for now, we will get into some questions. You guys submitted them to us again, as I said, via our contest site, and we're so excited to get into them and hopefully give you guys either some answers, catharsis, or feedback that you've been looking for. So I'm going to get into the first one, which is from Patrick in England. Hi, Patrick. He says, "Dear Sierra, the Visual Snow Initiative's work inspires so many of us and gives us hope for the future. What inspired you to start the initiative?" Wow. Okay. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for your question. I really appreciate you submitting a response to us. That's a really big question. And I'm really glad, most of all, to hear that the initiative gives you hope and it gives you promise for the future, because that was one of the reasons that I started the initiative. I felt like I had no hope at the beginning of my journey getting diagnosed with VS. I went around to doctors and they didn't know what VS was. So I went online and started researching, becoming my own doctor essentially. And I found all this information about VS. It was limited given the size of the internet, but there was more information that I was getting from doctors. So I was finding all this information, but it was very confusing. And even though I was starting to understand what VS was, I didn't know who to believe, because people had different hypotheses about its genesis, and it was all very confusing for, at the time, I was like a college student, and although I was accomplished, it was even confusing for someone like me that I consider to be fairly intelligent. So through all of that, I found out about Dr. Peter Goadsby, who you all know about. He's doing a live stream next week, so looking forward to that. I know I am. And I contacted him, and he formally diagnosed me with visual snow and kind of dispelled the myths and gave me the facts about what I was dealing with, about visual snow syndrome. And this wave of relief came over me, and I was like, wow, I wish other people knew the facts too and didn't have to second guess their diagnosis or what they have. And so, coming back to your question about what inspired me, I wanted to give people the facts. And I figured, how great would it be if we can get all the people who know about visual snow together and have a conference and put patients and families of those with VS in touch with them. So almost like a panel, and they could ask them face to face, because I didn't have a doctor in my area who knew about VS. I mean, Peter was based out of England at the time. So I wanted to bring people together and let them know what was happening, what information we had, and that there was actually visual snow research being done, because a lot of a lot of what I saw online, it didn't look like people were doing a whole lot of anything, and some of the studies looked a bit uh, older. Or online, sometimes it's hard to tell. It can look sketchy, but obviously, coming from doctors, it's legit. So that's why we organized the 2018 Visual Snow Conference. And from there, I got to meet people with VS for the first time. I'd never met anybody face to face with VS. First person I met was Matthew. I almost cried. It was like a beautiful moment for me, very touching. And I got to meet more people at the conference too. And I thought, wow, there's a community here, and we can all comfort each other and feel less alone. And beyond that, I felt like there was a call to action. It just wasn't about educating people about VS. This was like a global issue that honestly, not it wasn't just about me anymore after meeting everybody. I wanted a cure not only for me, but I wanted it for you guys, and I wanted it for everyone I met at the conference who had VS too. And so I made it my life's mission to hopefully get to a place where VSI can offer you guys solutions and cures for the future. And what inspires me right now to continue the initiative is, I won't lie to you guys, my own, desire to find a cure for myself and maybe make my visual snow better. But first and foremost, I think even before that is the response from you guys. It really motivates me every single day. So that's Patrick's question. I know it's a bit lengthy, but it's hard to explain what inspires you when it's so emotional and so much as well. Let's see. I'm gonna look at the comments. Okay. Hi everybody. Hi Iris. Hi Jose. Hi Dominique. Dominique or Dominic? I'm not sure. But hello to you. Hi Jacqueline. Let's see. Here. Okay. You're asking about finding a doctor in your area, Jacqueline? I will get back to that in a second for sure. Oh, and someone's asking about reducing after images. I know some of you probably get those. Everyone's VS is different, for the record. Going back to that, I get after images personally, and I know a lot of you do. Some people, their VS, they explain that it's tolerable at times, that it's kind of within a scale. It's always uncomfortable and it's always really annoying, but some people will say it's bothersome, whereas others will say it is completely debilitating and life-altering. And I want everybody to keep in mind too, because I think this is important. Everyone's VS is different. Mine happens to be extremely severe. It's very debilitating. It's prevented me from doing a lot of everyday activities that people just don't even have to second guess. And then for some people, it can just be like mildly peevesome, not really a big deal in terms of everyday activities, more just an annoyance that they can't see clearly. But I think everybody should be able to see clearly if given the opportunity, and I want us to be able to find a way to work around this, because I know there are things that I miss seeing clearly, and I'll get into that a little bit later too. Maybe you guys can relate, but some of us get after images, palinopsia, trailers, starbursts, floaters, random light flashes. So, and some of us see VS in color, whereas others see it black and white too. That's another interesting fact. And a lot of people, fun fact, a lot of people can actually see VS who don't have it, but only temporarily. It's something that they can see against a bright blue sky, and that's called entopic phenomena. And if they can see it in the dark too, that's actually a pretty normal occurrence. The difference between people who have VS and normal people is that their VS goes away when they leave a dark room, or they stop looking at like a bright blue background that triggers the temporary VS. The difference is theirs goes away and ours doesn't. Ours is constant, permanent, and just a continuous annoyance. But anyway, I digress. I just wanted to clarify that since we were talking about that. All right, so I'm going to get into another question, and this one is from John in Canada. Hello, John. All right, and John asks, what are your future plans for the Visual Snow Initiative going forward in 2019? By the way, if I cough or have to, adjust my throat, I'm real sorry. I have a cold right now, so I'm doing my best. Please bear with me, and I hope it doesn't disturb the volume on your computer. But anyway, John asked, what are your future plans for the Visual Snow Initiative going forward in 2019? John, thank you so much for your question. So I really like this question because we have a lot of exciting things coming up in 2019. And the most tangible and first one being the fact that we're doing research studies. The response we got with the CrowdRise campaign, it has affected me so deeply in a positive way. I am so humbled by what you guys have done, and the money that we've raised thus far with our CrowdRise campaign is going to be going to our Global Research Fund, and they're funding research for 2019. We're going to be doing 3 different kinds of studies in 3 different parts of the world. So there's one study going on in the United States, one study going on in England, and the other is going to be in Australia. And they're covering different bases. So I want you guys to know we're looking into all possibilities, and we're going to have a lot of information once these studies are concluded that as soon as we know the results of, we are going to give that to you guys. And I know you guys are anticipating answers, and I am just as much as you are. So as soon as we know everything, we're going to be sure to update you. But that's probably what I'm most excited for in 2019 is finding the results of those research studies. I'm not sure when they're getting back, but just the fact that they're getting off the ground right away at the start of the new year, that is an awesome way to kick it off. I'm so psyched. And gonna go into our next question. Okay. All right. Jessica from Boston. Hi, Jessica. She asked, does the Visual Snow Initiative have any groups they are affiliated with or looking at partnerships with? It would be so amazing if everyone in the VS community worldwide could work together as one. Hi, Jessica. Thank you for your question. I completely agree with you. I think as a united front, we are totally unstoppable. And while honestly, I don't think visual snow is as rare as people think it is, because we have heard from people all over the world of all ages, of all walks of life, having VS, whether they were born with it or developing it. So I don't think VS is all that rare, but we are more of a smaller community, if you will, because visual snow isn't exactly common, right? But I wouldn't say it's exactly rare. It's a lot more people affected than you think. But I do think it's important that we stick together. And if you know of any groups or partnerships you think would be good for VSI, please let us know. I would love your feedback and any contributions you guys want to make, whether it's suggestions, advice, or you guys have anything personally to offer or recommendations. We would love to hear from you. And additionally too, about VSI. So if you find anybody, whether it's on the internet, in real life, or anyone you think that could help further our cause or that would be a good partner for us, please let them know who we are, let them know what we're doing. It would be great if we could spread the word, and spreading the word about VSI, spreading the word about visual snow. I want us to be, as I said before, like a united front, a one-stop shopping for everything visual snow. And I want this to be a go-to place for everybody. So yeah. And I do love your idea about everyone in the VS community working together as one. I really think I've read your stories and thank you for sharing them with me. And I really do think we've all been through similar experiences, whether we live in this part of the globe or some other area. It's the stories of things we go through to get a diagnosis or not get a diagnosis and just find on the internet, or the symptoms we have. It's eerily similar, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. And in the meantime, I think it's important that we continue to communicate with each other, communicate with the doctors that are helping us, keep VSI informed of what you're going through, because we can share that information with the doctors and distribute that to everyone. And I think also from an emotional standpoint, you start to feel less alone. Your VS starts to become less prominent when you understand there's other people out there who are going through the same thing. I know that was big for me, and others as well. So yeah, thanks again, Jessica. I'm gonna look through the the chat right now and see what you guys are saying. And how have I reduced my symptoms? Somebody asked. Multicod Montage asked, how have you reduced your symptoms? Well, I'm going to get into that a little bit later, so I'm not going to ignore your question. I do have a similar one that was asked of me, so I'm going to go ahead and get into that a little later. So I'm not ignoring your question, but I will answer it a little more thoroughly while answering someone else's question. And let's see, Jacqueline asks, have there been multiple family members with it? Actually, at the Visual Snow conference, yes. I met somebody that, a boy, and also his father who had VS. And somebody wrote to me as well, an interesting story. A girl and her brother also had it. I don't know if there's a genetic component to visual snow because I am not a doctor, and I am very forthcoming about that. I would like to think I'm a highly intelligent person and I'm pretty accomplished, but I'm not qualified to confirm that. However, it wouldn't surprise me, and we're looking into it. So if that is a question you have, like if there's a genetic component to it, we're probably going to be able to give you those answers, especially after our 2019 research studies that are coming up real soon at the start of the new year. We're going to get on it, okay? So we're doing what we can to be able to give you a concrete answer. All right, let's see. Oh, okay. Somebody recommended a potentially good partnership. Also, Jacqueline. Cool. Thank you. Right. Okay. And she's saying her daughter Emily has VS. I'm really sorry Emily has VS. You can always let her know that she has emotional support in VSI. And if she wants to email me, I'm happy to give her some tips because I know how challenging it can be sometimes trying to be in school and just be a regular girl going through life and trying to navigate something too. And maybe her friends might not have it as well. I don't know. Maybe she knows people that do, but I'm always happy to help in any way that I can. And I've actually heard from a lot of kids too who have VS, and they're really inspiring as well. And I got a lot of emails from parents too saying that they feel bad that their child is going through this alone and having to navigate growing pains as well. But mostly that the kid doesn't know anybody else who has it. And I want to assure you, there are a lot of children who have this. And again, that's why I think it's good we have something like VSI where people can connect with other like parents or children that are going through this as well. And perhaps can like connect you guys as well if you would like to know of anybody else. So Joelle or Jolie, I'm not sure. I hope I apologize for my pronunciations, but I'm gonna say Joelle asked, do I think the cure will be a type of medication or supplement or a shot of some type? That's also a really good question. I don't know. I would like to know. I am, again, I'm not a doctor. But as soon as we have something concrete to tell you, you better believe I'm going to let you know right away because I'm waiting on standby too, okay, for a cure. And maybe if not even a cure, we can have just something that makes us more comfortable or a temporary solution in the meantime too. Like if we find a way to help in the meantime that isn't like, you know, the ultimate cure, I'm going to let you guys know too because I would use it myself and want to feel more comfortable. Okay. I know you're not a researcher, but how far off do you think we are from a cure or an effective treatment? Wow. So the really cool thing is we actually have the power to do something about visual snow and actually cure it. And not a lot of people can say that about conditions they have. In a way, we're fortunate, but research and studies do take time. I'm not a patient person. I'm very impatient. So I want the solutions to be immediate, but at the same time, I respect that the doctors are working diligently and there will be a cure to offer. 100%. There's no doubt in my mind. And initially, when we started the initiative, it was about the cure of understanding. So just about educating, letting people know what VS was and what it wasn't, so they didn't have to be scared. One big thing we were able to let people know is that, as far as we know, VS does not cause blindness. It is not degenerative, and those were two things that were very concerning for me. I thought I was going blind, but no, your eyes structurally are fine. Again, it's a brain processing issue. But I wanted to move on from the cure of understanding, right? Like an educational, informative cure, to an actual concrete physical cure. And that is my intention. It always has been and will be. I have no doubt that we will get there. As for the timeline, that is very much subjective and related to funding and funding for research. So the doctors that we have are the most capable, and I'm very confident in saying that because I know them personally, and they are empathetic to what we're going through, and they are also very professional and very good at their craft. So I trust that they'll get it done. In terms of a timeline, as I said, it's more dependent on funding. And that's why we try as hard as we can to raise enough money to get a cure for all of us. Yeah. And I'm going to answer another question somebody submitted online, if that's cool with you guys. All right. So Matthew from Ireland asked, how can I get involved with VSI? I'm willing to do anything I can to help, including volunteering for research. Matthew, thank you for your question. If anybody wants to volunteer for VSI or would like to get involved in research and partake in the studies, you can just let us know on our website. You feel free to email us and tell us whether you would like to participate in research, or if you want to volunteer for VSI, like you can just put it in the little subject header or the title of the email, and we'll refer you appropriately either to the doctors and get you involved, because I know they are always looking for participants. The more people we have that are interested in participating in these studies, and we get facts about their symptoms and information, like the more information we gather, the more we can give that to doctors, and they can find correlations and things that like stand out, and that's going to help them get closer and closer to where they need to be. So I know that the doctors would be so enthused to have anybody who wants to volunteer for that. So you can just let us know on our website and we'll refer you appropriately. And if you want to volunteer for VSI, that makes me so happy. I'm really flattered that you want to help us out. We're always looking for people to help, and especially the VS community. You guys always have great ideas. I love hearing them. So just let us know. Again, you can we have several handles, but I think the best way is probably through our website, and just contact us through email, and we'll always get back to you. Yeah. So thank you again. All right. I'm going to answer one more question and comment on your guys' live feedback. Thank you so much for tuning in. It really means a lot to me. And yeah, let's see. Okay. Yeah. You can email info@visualsnowinitiative.org, and they will get back to you, or myself personally will get back to you, and we'll refer you appropriately. And as I said, either to the doctors, or if you want to volunteer for us, then we'll find a way for you to help, because we're always looking for help. Thank you. Hazy reality. Does anyone see bending lines in the vision? I do, and I think a lot of people do. You're not alone with that. Let's see. Hey, Lucy. She says, you're not alone. I thought it was just me. Oh, maybe that's in response to somebody else. Yeah, but you're definitely not alone. There are a lot of people who have VS. And again, you can be born with it. You can develop it. It's something that affects people all over the world of all ages. Yeah, crazy. Thousands of people. Alexander asked, do you think there will be more researchers joining the initiative, or do you not want anybody else to join the research team? Oh, no, I don't discriminate at all. Please, if you know of anybody that you think would be a great addition to our team, please feel free to reach out to them and let them know about the initiative. And if not, you can let us know their names. If there's anybody that was willing to help who was an expert in VS, you better believe I reached out to them. I make it my active effort. I live with VS every single day. Therefore, I never forget about it. as do you guys. I'm sure you understand. There are moments like, again, like it's not the center of my world. Maybe I'm doing something or I'm preoccupied, but in the back of my mind, I never forget. And I'm always thinking about you guys. So if there's anyone I know of that wants to help or is interested in helping, they either already have that I know of, or I would love to hear from them. So please let me know, or reach out to them and let them know what we're doing. That would really mean a lot. And it helps. Like, again, somebody asked before about like the VS community coming together and like being a united front. I really think that's great if we have all doctors on board who are interested in treating VS and learning more about it and connecting them with patients. Like, that's phenomenal. Okay. Oh, somebody said thank you to me. Thank you so much. um, let's see. Dominic asked how old VS sufferers are. Well, I'm 24. I can't speak for everybody else. Maybe people in the comments can let him know. And but we hear from people again, like of all ages. And the funny thing too is, when people email me, they seem to think that I get a lot of emails from people who are a bit older, and they seem to think that it's because they're getting old, and then young people think it's because I don't know, of something that affects young people. Like, everyone thinks it's individualistic to them, and that it has to do with something they did. Please stop blaming yourselves, and please stop thinking that it's like, again, something to do with like something you did wrong or blaming yourselves. Like, no, none of that. Please, I beg you guys. I did enough of blaming myself only to realize it was absolutely unproductive and untrue. There's no reason to do that. It just happens. Sometimes things just happen. And even though it's unfortunate, like, I'm trying to turn a negative circumstance into something really positive, you know? And actually, even through my VS, I think in ways I may have become a better person. I became way stronger. And yeah. Oh, Dominic, you're 16. You're so young. I miss being 16. I'm 24 and I don't know, I feel like 80 years old and 14 at the same time, if that makes sense. Joel asked, does alcohol make it worse? Because you're turning 21 soon, so you want to know. Oh yeah, that's a good question. You know what? For some people, it doesn't affect them. For others, it does. So I can't give you a concrete answer on that front, but I do want you to have fun and enjoy your life. Whatever you want to do. I personally don't drink, but I have been in college before, so I understand, like, you know, what you mean when you're turning 21 and everything. You need to go out and have fun too. So maybe like everything in moderation. That's kind of my philosophy. I don't want anyone to be scared of things or live such a rigid and restricted life out of fear that their VS will get worse. But at the same time, there are things that tend to make it a little bit worse. And like, you can look that up, and also everyone's VS is different. So see what affects you. You know, some people are affected by alcohol. Some people are affected by lack of sleep. Some people are affected by stress, and some people aren't affected at all. It just kind of stays the same all the time, you know? So I can't speak to that. But, you know, I don't know when you're turning 21, but happy birthday. And I hope you enjoy being 21. It's a good age. All right. I know I said one more, but I want to answer one more now. All right. Iris, by the way, you asked if anyone's VS is slightly worse after they just woken up. Mine is. Mine definitely is. Yeah. So you're not alone there. It happens to me too. Thank you. I love internet. You're so sweet for what you said. They said what you created with VSI is amazing. You created hope. I'm really glad I had none at the start of this, and that's what I want to give you guys. And I actually can say for the first time in my life with VS, I feel hopeful now, you know, because there's things being done for us. Yeah. I was going to read another question, but I hope now's an okay time. I did want to interject in the middle and just thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for all of the donations and support and encouragement you guys provided during our CrowdRise campaign. We started that a couple months ago, and I was honestly just going to be touched if we were able to raise like 25,000. I was hoping, you know, and we not only were, but then that was matched by a donor, and we raised even more money, like in the 50,000s. It's staggering. And that money is going straight to VS research, straight in 2019. And I want you guys to know, like, that the response, it not a day goes by since we've started this, and even during the CrowdRise campaign, that I'm not grateful for I'm not grateful for the fact that you guys not only like gave the time of day, but were so kind enough to, even from the people who gave $1 to people who gave hundreds of dollars. Like, this is all going to help people, and not only people like me, but everyone like you and families who are affected. And we're gonna I'm just so excited, sorry. We're going to get this money directly to the doctors in our Global Research Fund. It's going to be distributed in 3 places, as I said: United States, England, and Australia. So all bases are being covered, and as soon as we have the results from that, we'll let you know. I did have a little announcement. Because the response we got from our first go of the campaign went so well, we're going to continue it. And hopefully our goal is to raise another additional 25,000. And we already have a donor who has agreed to match the 25,000 that hopefully we'll be able to raise, fingers crossed. That period will end at December 31st. So starting now to December 31st, we're hoping to raise $25,000, and there's a donor who has 25,000 ready to match that. So if we can get 25,000, then we get an additional 25,000, and that will be 50,000 on top of what we have already that we raised because of you guys. That's going to go to VS research. And I'm really hoping we can pull through. I am working really hard on my end. I know you guys can help us get there too, but that money is going to help make research go so much faster. And yeah, I can't wait. So thank you again for everything you've done, and hopefully we'll continue to support us. And I'm always fighting for you guys. And yeah, this period, it's been staggering. And yeah, so CrowdRise is still going on. If you know any ways you can help or want to contribute, that would really mean a lot to us. No pressure, though. I'm definitely not going to pressure anybody, but it does help things go faster the more money we can raise. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. That's just the honest truth. But we've already done so amazing thus far, and I know we can continue to do amazing and make that December 31st mark. I'm going to be doing everything on my end, as I said. So yeah. I'm going to scroll through the live comments again, if that's cool with you guys. Let's see. All right. Oh, hi, Steven. I know you. Oh, thank you for the kind words. You're so sweet. Oh, hey, love from Stockholm. Hi, guys. Oh, hey, Patrick. Let's see. All right. Oh, someone's asking about glasses. I was going to actually mention those. Interesting. Oh, hey, Cody. Thank you so much for the nice compliment. And Laura, too. Hi, guys. Thank you. Yeah, some people are saying they develop their VS and they get different symptoms with it. Yeah, you're not alone. And I hope we can find like a common correlation between everyone. So far, from what I can tell, there doesn't seem to be like one concrete correlation. Like, everyone's lived such a different life, yet we all have the same symptoms. It's very interesting, but something's going to click, and especially with these upcoming studies, it's going to reveal a lot, We'll see. All right, I'm going to go on to the other questions that were asked. And let's see. Okay, so this person asked, her name is Jane from Oregon. Hey, Jane. And she said, my VS just started 2 months ago. I am still adjusting to life, and I am unsure if my symptoms will ever stabilize. How do you cope? Ooh, well, That is that is a good question. How do I cope? Some days are harder than others. Some days are harder than others, and everybody's VS, from what I can tell, kind of it usually fluctuates within a range. Um, Again, there's certain factors that affect me, like stress. Right, stress makes things worse. But at the same time, I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I am, as much as I try to be now, a functioning human being. Like I have a life beyond VS. And I thought when I first had VS that it had to completely defeat and debilitate me. And I realized until I started making an active effort, and I mean like a real conscious effort, you guys, like forcing yourself to be this way, until I made an active effort to be positive, that my VS wasn't going to get better. Like, and here's what I mean. I can't will away my VS like as a physical manifestation, but like I'm going to see the world with VS until we get some solutions, right? But in the meantime, I can change the way I see the world emotionally, like inwardly. And making that effort to be positive and optimistic and making yourself a priority as well, that's going to make your VS like almost start to dissipate in a way. And I don't mean physically, I mean from your mind. And one thing I do want to tell you, because you just got your VS fairly recently, and when I first got mine, I was having a lot of dark days and did not think that anything would ever get better. I am here to tell you what a lot of people might not have told you, whether they're doctors or people who were trying to help but maybe just didn't know. I know because I have VS, and I promise you it will get better. Okay? When you're having a bad wave of VS or just a bad day in general, that day will subside. If your VS is getting more severe, it's gonna get back to normal. Things will stabilize. It's not always going to be erratic. It's not always going to be crazy. Are there going to be moments like that? Yeah. But couldn't you say the same thing for people like without VS, right? Like that's just life too. But I want you to keep in mind, like during those dark moments, you can never ever give up. And not because I'm just telling you that, but because it actually gets better. And like you need to stick around to like enjoy those wonderful moments, because you're going to have those. And I thought VS2 had to, in the beginning, change who I was as a person. And yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, it changed me, but it changed me for the better. And I really think that it can change people for the better too. Do I mean that like I think everybody should like get VS and their character improves astronomically? Heck no, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that this circumstance does not have to defeat you. And I don't let it defeat me, and it gets better. Okay? So hang in there. And we have the benefit now of knowing that there's a cure that's coming, right? We didn't have that before. People were researching it, but there was no really talk of a cure. They weren't really doing anything. And we're working on that, for you guys. So try to remind yourself of that in those moments. I know for me, like it was really cathartic knowing that there were doctors doing things. So like while I was living my life and enjoying myself in the meantime, like there were things being worked on. No one's sitting idly. Okay. It felt that way, but now VSI is doing something about it. So, and you also, if you ever need support too, Jane, there is a community of people out here who I know would love to be there for you and tell you their stories and let you know you're not alone. And they can maybe give you some advice too. And you can always contact me via our website, and I can offer you support as well if you're ever feeling alone. Okay? Cool. All right, let's see. All right. Yeah. Some people were also saying if like they see it with their eyes closed. Yeah, see it with your eyes open and closed. That's pretty textbook visual snow syndrome. Yeah. Let's see. Hey Megan, I'm sorry you're dealing with eye flashes and the constant snow. I get you. Hang in there, girl. Oh, thank you for saying I'm very kind and that my words are golden. That's really high praise. You're so sweet. Thank you. Um, do I also have tinnitus and get after images? Some people say tinnitus, some people say tinnitus. Matthew says tinnitus, so I'm gonna go with him because he gets it. I definitely get it, and I get it. I've gotten it more frequently in my life since having VS, but I don't know if it's more of like that I'm more cognizant of it or that there's actually a correlation, to be honest. For some people, like there is such a blatant correlation between their tinnitus and their visual snow. But I definitely have gotten it more since I developed VS. Yeah, or I got VS. I didn't develop it like a project I was working on. It just kind of happened, but for lack of a better word, you know what I mean. Yeah, photophobia is a terrible symptom. Like, I feel you 100%. Yes. Okay. Yeah, brain fog. A lot of people. Hi, Ricardo. I'm sorry you're going through like brain fog and dealing with dizziness. That happens to a lot of people too. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to move on to some questions, guys. All right. Somebody asked, Henry from New York. Okay. Henry from New York asked, what is it like to look back now compared to when your VS first started? How would you reflect on your experience? Would you have ever thought that you slash VSI would be where you are today? Hey, Henry. Thank you for your question. No, I did not anticipate any of this. I knew something needed to be done, but I didn't know necessarily that I would be I would be the one to feel a call to action, so to speak. But going back to your first part of the question, which was, looking back now compared to when I first got it, like how are things different? How would I reflect on my experience? I'll be real with you guys. There was a time when I couldn't even say the words visual snow, right? I've said it a million times like VS during this live stream. It's like, really? Seriously? But yes, really, seriously. um, I started reading about visual snow online, and my first instinct, right, is I definitely have this. And then my second response was, hmm, I don't want to believe I have this. And then thirdly, I'm like, I don't have this. I'm going to convince myself I don't have this. I don't even want to talk about visual snow, don't want to hear about it. And I asked my family and friends, I told them what I had. I said, hey, I have visual snow, but I don't want to talk about it. And you can't bring it up. Please don't bring it up around me. It will trigger me, you know? So there was a time I couldn't even say the words visual snow or hear the words visual snow without having a conniption, without crying. And now I'm at a point where I can talk about it without crying. I can get through it. I recognize it for what it is. And I think that is a lot part and due to the fact that I feel like something's being done now. It was so sad to say that I had VS before because that would be admitting that I have this condition that no one in my eyes at the time was really doing anything about. But now something's being done. So it feels okay. I feel safer now. I feel more optimistic. I feel hopeful, you know? And I would say that's like a change I'm proud of within myself. I don't know if anyone can relate to that. Maybe you guys are maybe you guys are a lot more accepting than I am. I was not very accepting in the beginning, you know? Uh, anyway, let's see. Okay, Julian from Canada asks, what has been your biggest challenge with dealing with your VS? Julian, thank you for your question. That kind of corresponds to what I was just saying, but one thing comes to mind when I think about that. My biggest challenge with VS, beyond dealing with it, come on, let's be real, right? Uh, it's not it's not a walk in the park. Uh, but my biggest challenge with visual snow actually has been accepting it. I had somebody advise me to accept my visual snow, and a lot of people told me, until you accept this, you won't be set free. You're going to be sad. You will never find true happiness until you have acceptance. And to that I say, great. I still don't accept it. I tried. I tried to accept having visual snow, and I've just kind of resigned myself to the fact that I'm never going to accept it. And that's okay. Like, that's really fine not to accept it, because my lack of acceptance is what has led to me wanting to find a cure, and what led me to start VSI was the lack of acceptance, the lack of positive feedback that I got with like from doctors kind of saying, "Oh, well, we don't know what to do." And it was enigmatic to them, right? Like they didn't know what to do when I first started this and I was going to doctors. They didn't know how to help me. And then the people who did know what it was kind of like, "Ugh, well, it says that it's you know, there's no known cure." Well, how's that supposed to make you feel, right? So I didn't accept that. And look where it got us. You know, look how much money we've raised on CrowdRise. Look how much research has been done. We've organized the first ever Visual Snow conference, and look what's coming up in 2019. Like, and we've been acknowledged by publications. We have been. We're gonna. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But like, we filmed things. We've done so much thus far, and we brought together like a whole community. And by we, I mean you guys. Like, really, like we've united as a front, and that was spawned from not accepting having visual snow. It's fine that you don't accept your VS some days. You can hate it. That's fine. I don't like it, and that's what keeps me moving forward. So yeah, that's the hardest challenge to accept. But you know what? It has a positive side too. So I'll look back and see what you guys are saying. Thank you again for tuning in. It means so much. Let's see. Yeah, Ricardo, you're saying that like looking at the computer screen gives you a lot of dizziness. Looking at a computer screen for me is really hard. There was actually a fun little story, short, don't worry. When I first got VS, I did not go on the computer at all. Like, and try being a college student, like this day and age, and doing your work, not using your laptop. And I think that puzzled my professors a little bit as well. But I didn't even know how to explain visual snow to them at the time. So I'd find ways to work around it. But there was a time I actually thought, because of the misinformation that was out there, or the lack of education and clarification, there was a time I thought going on the computer would make my visual snow like get so bad that I would go blind or something. And no, I'm clearly on the computer with you guys right now. But it does make it worse for me. Don't get me wrong. Like, if I'm here for a couple hours, and I am back in school again, taking classes in conjunction with running the nonprofit and doing other things. But yeah, it definitely gives me a headache, makes me a little dizzy too. Some people describe it as headache or dizziness, right? And it can make your VS a little worse, like if you're there for hours. But like, if you have to do work and you have a life to live and you got to use a computer, you're fine, as far as I know. Right? Again, I'm not a doctor, but speaking from experience. Again, I avoided the computer for like, honestly, like I tried to 2 years. Okay. But now we're good. Now I use the computer all the time. You just kind of work around it. Okay. Someone's saying, yeah, okay. So somebody can relate right here, saying that, hey, thank you again for your feedback. Saying, yeah, you don't get the acceptance part. Like, maybe it works for some people, but it doesn't work for you. It doesn't work for me either, and that's fine. And a lot of people accept their VS, and again, it's a minor annoyance for them, and for other people, it's debilitating. Everybody's different. Like, you can say that about anything in life. This is just something really difficult to deal with. Like, everyone's going to have different opinions, whether it's like we're talking about like, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Like, people can love or hate vanilla, chocolate, whatever. Like, and this is this is honestly, it's kind of a simplistic analogy for a very big concept, which is obviously referring to visual snow. But like, people are gonna have different opinions on visual snow. It's bad, but I accept it. And then other people, I don't accept it, it's terrible, or vice versa, whatever. And that's okay. That's completely fine. Someone's asking, can we receive a treatment within 2019? That is completely dependent upon how much money we're able to raise. again, I want to be upfront with you guys, but at the same time, uh, I know that developing a cure will take some time. As for the timeline, I'm not sure. If I have that, I will be sure to let you guys know. I don't like to be vague, but I also don't want to make promises to people that I don't know we can like verbatim keep, because I'm gonna, like, if I get a date that we'll have a cure by, I'm gonna hang on to that, and I don't want to give you guys anything like that. But I know that it's tangible, because it's tangible and it's doable. But yeah, it's dependent mostly upon funding. Like, it's crazy to say, like, we have the power to cure a medical condition. Not a lot of people are given that privilege, and I talked a little bit about that before. But there's so many things, like so many awful things in this world that really could be solved, and unfortunately, it's through funding. It's through money. I wish I could cure visual snow with $1. But we're doing what we can with what we have. So yeah, but we're gonna get there, okay? And then this person says, "Oh, okay, nighttime driving is very dangerous for you. And driving's your passion." I stopped driving initially when I had visual snow, but I've since resumed a little bit. I think the more you get comfortable with VS, like, and again, not accepting it, I don't. You can accept it too, that's fine. But I'm just saying, the more you get comfortable and kind of used to it and know what you're dealing with, once you realize it's not going to like obstruct your vision entirely, and you won't be like, you know, um, like completely, like your eyes will be structurally blind. Like, it can be reassuring to know, like, oh, hey, I can be on the road, but always be comfortable, like put yourself first, try to be comfortable. And if you're having photophobia, right? If the lights are just too much, one thing that helps me a lot is sunglasses. And I know a lot of you guys have gotten sunglasses that help your VS, right? For me personally, what works is when I'm looking at like a blue sky, like cool tints. So like indigo, purple, kind of like my background, like glasses that color. But I don't know, purple tints aren't for everybody. That's a little flashy. I personally don't mind. So if that's not your thing, then warmer brown, yellowy tinted glasses seem to help me. But again, everybody's different. So I would recommend like going to an eyeglasses store, you know? And maybe like trying on different glasses, like with different tints, and having some fun, whether mostly sunglasses though, like you want them to be able to protect your eyes from the bright lights or photophobia. And that can make driving a lot more comfortable. It can make looking at like the sun more comfortable. Not that you should stare directly into the sun, but I have one thing I really miss. And someone asked me a question like about this that I'll get to in a sec, but there are only a couple more. But one thing that was really hard for me in the beginning was that I wasn't able to enjoy sunsets as much. I'm a photographer. I love to paint, and sunsets provide me with a lot of inspiration. And I wasn't able to enjoy them the same way. It was, again, like the sky and really blank backgrounds kind of call attention to my visual snow, plus the light from the sun. I couldn't look at it anymore. So I had a total aversion to that. But since actually recently, I was telling you guys I tried out sunglasses with different color tints, and I was using some that had like a yellowish, brownish, more warmer tone tint. And I was able to see the sunset so clearly. And it's been years since I've been able to see that. And I really wasn't paying attention to my snow. Like, it's still there, but it's not the focal point. It's not the first thing my eye goes to. And that was really huge, because I miss clear sunsets so much. The first thing I do, when we have a cure or potential treatment of some sort, I'm going to do is go stare at a sunset. Yeah. Someone said hi. Hello. Let's see. Well, some sunglasses doesn't help everybody, but there's different types you can try. That, as I said, like with different color tints, right? That might be able to help you. Different shapes, different UV protection levels. So don't give up hope. Try to experiment around a little bit, because someone told me that in the beginning, and I was like, sunglasses, really? That's that's your solution here, but it actually does help if you find the right ones. Maybe a little bit, you know? It's worth a try. Let's see what everyone else is saying. Hi, Alexander. Do I have floaters? And would I recommend laser for them? Oh, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not qualified to say. I do not intend to get any sort of lasers in my eyes for floaters, but yes, I do have floaters, but floaters are different from visual snow as far as I know, actually. I think they're a pretty normal occurrence in life. You tend to get them just as you age, actually. And you don't have to be super old. I have friends in, my 20s and even as teens that have floaters. So they're more just annoying, you know? As I think they're gratuitous gel in your eyes and they just kind of like float around, but they change and disappear. That's why they're never the same. But again, I'm not a doctor, so that's more something to ask Peter Goadsby next week on our other live stream. Hi, Zero. Do you have do I have dry eyes and eye pain? My eyes are so dry. I actually did a dry eye test at an ophthalmologist's office, and my my eyes are like the driest that they could be. I don't know if that's tied into our visual snow. I think that's just maybe life, you know? I do have glasses and I am a contact lens wearer. So maybe that has something to do with it. But again, like visual snow isn't a structural eye issue, it's more of a brain related issue. But my eyes, yeah, they're very dry and I do get a lot of pain behind them, especially when I'm having like migraine episodes. And I just tend to feel eye pain a lot actually uh, since having visual snow. But um, yeah, despite taking really good care and being very hygienic with my contact lenses and my glasses and all these things, I do have dry eyes. But drops help a lot. Like I carry drops on me, like little eye drops, all the time. And there are some brands that are better than others. So maybe you can ask an ophthalmologist about what would be good for you to take around because it's been such a game changer and like it'll make a big difference for you. Let's see. Yeah, somebody asked about focusing problems. Definitely. It can be a little difficult to focus with VS. When I talk to people who don't have it and I'm trying to describe it to them, I'm like, imagine there's like a party going on or like behind me, but you're trying to focus like on my face. There's a lot of stimuli we're seeing all the time. So it's pretty impressive if we can just like focus on one thing. But even sometimes thinking can be a little difficult, you know? It's like a little fuzzy. Okay, let's see. Are my eye flashes every colored? Yours are usually blue. Mine are kind of like a white blue. Yeah. Yeah. I'll get them randomly. It's just kind of something you deal with. Like I'll be chilling at home on the couch or like, out enjoying my life and it's like boom, flash of light. Okay. And you kind of you gotta really center yourself and be very like zen, like, okay, don't freak out. I just saw a flash of light. But they're not gonna hurt you. I used to freak out when that happened, like when I first got VS, but they're not gonna like it's not gonna harm you. It's kind of part of having visual snow syndrome. You just kind of have to learn to be like, okay, that happened. I just saw the light. I'm gonna ignore it, keep going with my life because you're gonna be fine. It'll be okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Someone from India is saying they have visual snow too. Yeah, you guys, like, we hear from people. Oh my God. Like, we've heard from initially it was like 26 countries, but now it's 32. We've heard from people all over the world who have this. Like, it's insane. And their stories are eerily similar yet different too, because everybody comes from a different walk of life. So it's crazy. All right. I'm going to finish up here with some of our questions. Right here, Michael wants to know, are there any medications I take or treatment I do to manage my VS symptoms? I do not take any medication. I am very sensitive to medication. I think some of you guys out there as well have said that you're like hypersensitive to things. And I find that very interesting. Maybe that's something that a lot of us have in common. If you do, please let me know. Um, but I tend to react to things very strongly. So I try to play it safe most of the time. And I don't take any medications currently for my VS, but there are some things I do to make my life better since having it. And I would recommend, as cheesy as this may sound, making yourself a priority and trying to reduce stress. Stress is unavoidable, that is life. But if you set yourself up to have more fun and do the things you enjoy, you will become less cognizant of your VS and just having more fun and focusing on leisure, which I think a lot of the time we forget in this life. Like when we have the opportunity to, like if we can enjoy ourselves, we need to take it, you know? I feel like people with VS we already have it a little rough. So like why are we subjecting ourselves to undue stress, right? And that's something like that I really took to heart. And not only like beyond being like making an active effort to be optimistic, I made an active effort to surround myself with supportive people if I could, whether that was friends, family, or a community online. And I would recommend that you do the same. And also finding what you can do, right? Like I don't want you to be too uncomfortable. It's okay to challenge yourself a little bit when you have yes, right? But just it's okay if you do the bare minimum some days. Like that's fine. You don't need to be a superstar every day. It's hard enough having VS, right? Even when you feel good, it's hard sometimes. So like when you're feeling bad, definitely don't be hard on yourself, but like try to laugh a little more, be silly. Like you can be like more lighthearted. Just I think having that kind of attitude is really what helps. Since adjusting my response to my VS and I mean like my emotional response and being more aware of how to make myself a priority, I think that it can be really liberating for people with VS. Like making some lifestyle changes sometimes, and I don't mean like, oh, you need to overhaul your whole life, but no, just like look out for yourself a little more. Like that makes a huge difference. VS doesn't have to defeat you, but it is going to affect you, right? Like for most people, it does. And again, just because something affects you doesn't mean it has to conquer you. So try to find the ways that you can make your life easier and then apply a more optimistic outlook. I would recommend that. Yeah. All right, let's see. What's everybody saying? Do I have tinnitus? I do sometimes. And in a dark room, does everyone's vision get darker? Yeah, my visual snow gets worse in a dark room, but that's pretty normal for most people, I think. Like I said before, even people who don't have VS, if sometimes like they go into a dark room, they can actually see what VS looks like. The difference is theirs goes away when they leave the dark room, but ours is constant, you know? Oh, someone just said their VS is better in the dark. Good for you. Hey, you could be a night owl. Awesome. And someone asked what triggered my VS. Daniel asked, I don't know. I don't know. And everybody, again, some people were born with it, and then some people just got it one day. And for some people, it was progressive. For some people, it's like, boom, I just got it, And I can't speak to the genesis of it. We're gonna do some research now in 2019, and that's why we have our CrowdRise campaign. It's like to fund all of that, but we're gonna be doing that research, and that will give us some answers probably as far as that's concerned. And I think some doctors were interested in looking into like a genetic variant, but that's not our first supposition as far as I think. I think we're looking into other things that seem more probable, but maybe there is a component or something we all have in common. Who knows, right? Let's see. Yeah, Ahmed asks if I've tried any medication for my VS, and if so, did it help? The only medication that I had tried for my VS was like a migraine medication, and somebody recommended that to me because they thought my VS was migraine aura. It's not. it's not. Uh, and that medication was extremely strong and kind of made me just very drowsy. So I stopped that. But other than that, I don't take anything. Yeah. Okay. So another question. This is the last question that we got, and any others that you guys have, I'm happy to answer. Um, but this person asks, where do you see the Visual Snow Initiative 5 years from now? And that is Jesse from Chicago. Hi, Jesse. Thank you for your question. In the future, as far as VSI is concerned, you guys all know what we're working towards. Working towards a cure. But a big goal for me, secondary to a solution for visual snow, I want someone with VS to be able to walk into a doctor's office, for their doctor to know what VS is and have heard of it and not misdiagnose them, for them to get properly diagnosed or be able to, even just get properly referred and then get help. That is what I want for the future. I want people to be able to say, hey, I have visual snow, right? To their friends or coworkers or people that they know, an acquaintance, and for them not to look at them like, oh, what's that? I would like for it to be common knowledge, because I think that, I guess it's sort of a play on words, but we kind of had a blind eye turned to us in a way. And what we're going through is very real. It can be very scary at first, first having VS, and maybe even like after you have VS too, it can be scary sometimes. And I think it makes it dramatizes and intensifies the situation even more when you're telling people what you have and they've never heard of it, or they say, oh wow, that sounds so scary, that sounds so terrible, what is it? Like it magnifies it, and that can emotionally affect you, and I would like to get rid of that for you guys. I want that to be more common knowledge, the way people say, oh hey, maybe not like, hey, I have a cold, because that's like a different level of common, but a lot of people know now about autoimmune diseases, like for example like lupus, or like glaucoma, right? Like these are things like maybe if you say them, it's not super like, it's not as common as a cold, right? But people have sort of common knowledge of them. I would like for that to be the goal. That is really what I strive for a VSI secondary to a cure moving forward. So yeah, and I'm just going to check out what you guys have to say and probably wrap up soon if that's cool with you guys. If you have any last comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, advice, shout outs, hellos, or anything you want to say, now's probably the time to do it. So I'll look and see what's up. In the next decade, will there be a treatment? Somebody asked. I told you this cold was going to come back to bite me, guys. Sorry. Yeah, in the next decade, will there be a treatment? That is the goal. That is the goal. And it's becoming more and more possible because of you guys and your contributions through CrowdRise and all your support and all of your donations. So thank you. That's our goal. Listen, I had a little bit of unrealistic expectations in the beginning. When I first was talking to our team of doctors, I was like, I want a cure tomorrow. I need my cure tomorrow. And they're like, it's not possible, Sierra. So tomorrow, no, and I meant literally like the next day, because I wanted it that badly. Yeah. Well, so maybe not tomorrow, but within a decade, I think that that's doable. We just need to keep moving forward as we have. And hopefully if things go according to plan. All right. Let's see. Okay. Some people are saying that like through health and diet, through healthy lifestyle changes and dietary changes, that's helped them a lot. I'm really glad. That's good. Whatever works for you. I don't think that there's like an across the board perfect, like one-stop shopping solution for everybody right now, but whatever makes you feel better, do it, and like, it's okay to play around with things a little bit and see if things help you. And I hope that you got some relief from that. I'm glad to hear things are helping you guys. Tony asked, "Tell me, please, is the progress good now?" If you're referring to the progress with research, things are going really great. As I said before, we were able to raise uh, over $50,000, and we're continuing now to raise an additional 25,000, and that will be matched if we make it. I hope we make it um, by a another private donor, and then we'd have an additional 50,000 if we make the 25,000 mark, and that's all going to VS research, and it's progressing really greatly, actually. You know, and the doctors are also overwhelmed by the response from you guys, and initially in the beginning too, I think they thought visual snow was rarer than it was, or rarer than it is, excuse me. But having heard from all the people that we have, it's very clear this is a global epidemic. Yeah. Cody's saying too, like Dr. Khan is very confident in a future cure. Yeah, see, like it's possible, guys. It definitely is. It's just more of a we everything takes funding, but we're working on it. All right. Oh, thank you, Iris, for thanking me for all my efforts. I'll always be advocating for you guys. Someone asked, what will a cure be like? Medication or surgery? Permanent cure. Oh, okay. So the end goal is a permanent cure. But in the meantime, I had mentioned this before, if we find any treatments or anything that can alleviate symptoms in the interim, we'll keep you guys posted 100%. Like I would be content with having something that made VS more tolerable or improved it or made it more comfortable for me while we're waiting for a cure, you know? And I don't know what form it will take, but I have made it very clear that what I am looking for ideally for us is something that is it has like it, that is least intrusive and has the less side effects, because I myself am very sensitive like to medication and just in general like to like just everything very sensitive like physically my body, the way it responds. So yeah, ideally it would be we're working on like the least intrusive, least side effect profile, but at the same time, like I don't know what the doctors necessarily are going to provide as like the answer yet, and if so, we will keep you guys informed of everything. Okay. Did I think about taking? I've never heard of that medication. No, I didn't think about taking. Somebody asked if I. Alexander asked if I thought about taking. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm not going to butcher it. But a certain medication. No, I never did. I just kind of learned to live with the VS. But if you guys know anything, that helps or improves your symptoms, feel free to inform us, and we can pass that information along to the doctors, and they can look to see if there's like any tie-ins. The more information we have, the better, really. Oh, someone was saying I should join the Visual Snow Initiative Facebook group if I haven't already. Yeah, that was one thing that was recommended to me when I first got Visual Snow. I know that place provides a really great it provides a lot of support to you guys, and it's can be really encouraging, like a little community, like a little family. I'm so glad. That's really good. Yeah, I'm not on social media beyond my VSI accounts, but I will definitely like look into it. I do go on actually, but I haven't joined the group, like joined it, because I don't have a Facebook account. But it's so good to know that like there's a place that people like can go and just talk to other people who have it and feel less alone as well. Thanks, Gabriel, for the suggestion, or Gabrielle. Yeah, I agree. Dr. Khan is a really good doctor. And of course, he's like super, he is optimistic because we have reason to be optimistic. Like, we're not going to kid you guys, there's no denying the facts. And the fact is, it's possible. Will a cure be for all the symptoms, including light sensitivity, tinnitus, and tingling? I would hope so, but I know primarily the focus is the visual snow itself. But everything, again, I'm not a doctor. I feel like everything is interconnected. It seems kind of uncanny that we all have like the same set of symptoms and they all kind of correspond with each other and flare up at the same time. So ideally, we would like to be able to treat everything. But I know primarily right now we're focusing on visual snow. But let's see. Who knows, right? Maybe. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, Tony. Hey, you've had it for 3 years. Had it about the same time, like 4 years. But Dr. Goadsby is a dedicated man. Let me tell you, when it comes to visual snow. He's very passionate about what he does, and he really does want to help. And he understands too. He understands the humanity of it all on an empathetic level. And I think a lot of doctors, sometimes they can be a little sterile, and they're very technical in their delivery. And it's important to have empathy with patients and understand what they're going through. And he definitely gets it. Yeah. Do I have any other health issues? Somebody's asking. I did mention at the Visual Snow conference that I have something called erythromelalgia, and it causes my extremities, so like my hands and my feet, to get like uncomfortably hot and or uncomfortably cold, and they respond to temperatures very strongly. So yeah, that's one thing I have. Okay, I'm glad you guys are communicating with each other in the comment section. That's awesome. And then somebody said, okay, got yeah, they say it's I'm gonna wrap it up here. Somebody said they know a guy who got visual snow after back cracking. Somebody asked if I've been tested for POTS. I've been tested for everything under the sun. For the most part, I'm completely healthy, with the exception of, I guess, having visual snow, and I have erythromelalgia, which I mentioned. Um, yeah. Again, I know a number of people who got visual snow in different ways around different times. Some people, there was really no trigger; it just kind of happened. So I can't attest to if that's the case for your friend. Somebody said visual snow is awesome. Just close your eyes and see a whole damn show. Could you imagine just seeing black? I love that positive outlook. You know what? If you're bored, especially if you're waiting in a doctor's office, which was what I found, if you're bored, like, just close your eyes. You got a whole show going on, like, especially when you see it against the black. But it can be fun, I guess, if you want to watch like the trailers and stuff. For me, it's not fun, but I love your outlook. Hey, like, okay, I see you. I understand. Cody, thank you for saying I'm amazing. You're amazing too. You all are. Um, and by the way, I know somebody asked, what does it look like when it's actually snowing outside? It's like double snow. Like, oh my god, that yeah, it's basically double snow. And it can be a little overwhelming. I get a little claustrophobic in the snow now. All right. Anyways, right. So I guess I'm going to conclude my live stream for now, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to me. And thank you so much again for the response on CrowdRise. And we're continuing our campaign through December 31st. Happy holidays, everybody. I know Hanukkah started yesterday, so happy Hanukkah and happy continuing holidays to everybody. And hopefully we're able to make our next $25,000 mark, and that will be matched by an additional donor, as I said. And we'll be able to get all that money to our global research fund. And we're starting straight off 2019 in the new year, distributing the money where it needs to go and working as hard as we can in the US, England, and Australia to find you guys a cure. And we're working on it. These studies are going to be really telling for what direction we should go in about, as far as I'm concerned, like the genesis of VS and like certain things about it. And as soon as we have that info, I'm going to let you guys know. And if you guys were asking some medical questions, so I did want to let you guys know that with anything medical that you would like to ask a question about, definitely refer to Dr. Goatsby. His live stream is going to be next week, and it's going to be, I'm pretty sure, on December 9th. And if you have any questions that you want to submit for that, we have our contest to have them selected on our website. And I know he's always looking forward to having you guys either as like research participants or talking to you guys and finding more about VS. And he provided me with so much information when I first got VS, and it really like set the ground for me to understand what VS was and what it wasn't. And I hope that he can do that for you. So any medical questions, refer to him. And yeah, the Wednesday. Oh no. Okay, so I looked up the date, guys. The live stream is going to be December 5th at 9 a.m. PST, so Pacific Standard Time. All right. So definitely don't want to miss the finale. And again, it's going to be with Dr. Goadsby on December 5th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And yeah, he's looking forward to hearing from you. And I'm looking forward to tuning in too. And you can submit your questions for him on our website, as I said. And yeah, I want to thank you guys for everything. And I'm gonna head out. Oh, and thank you again for your lovely comments. You're so nice. Thank you for saying I look lovely. You all are lovely too. And yeah. Oh, Gabriel, thank you for the kind words. And yeah, we sincerely appreciate your time. It's been wonderful talking to you and being able to answer your questions. And if you want to reach me, if you have any more questions or just want to talk, you can contact me via the website and email, and I'll get back to you. All right, we'll be talking again soon, guys. Tune in for Dr. Goadsby. All right, next week, December 5th, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye, guys.